per show. We talk diversity. Most of the time, on the Wednesday podcast, what we usually do is we have people, all over the world, whether it's, coming from down south or going as far as to Bahrain. On the 1240 WGBB show, I like to keep it more local, to have folks in the studio with us that we're able to reach out and touch. There's a lot of things going on in the community. There's people in the community that are change agents. There are people that make things happen. I'm looking at two gentlemen right across from me right now that are making things happen. Because last year, I would say close to 18 months ago, I had the opportunity to speak with, at the time, I was calling him Minister Reginald Benjamin. Because we were talking about Dream Big, we were talking about back to school. But now I have the opportunity to sit across the table from Reverend Reginald Benjamin to talk about some of the things that are happening in the community. There's a whole lot. There's a lot of violence going on nowadays. We sit here every day and we look on TV and we watch these two candidates go back and forth with the rhetoric, how they're going to fix the world and, I can fix this and I can change that. I think the first thing is understanding that you, the man or the woman, can't fix it. There's someone else who can, that we all do know. And I'm not about to preach or anything like that, but I'm pleased to announce that I have two guests. Going to have you announce yourselves.
I'm Brother James Muhammad and a member of Mosque number 7. And we're here today to talk about why we need peace in the streets. And I have a good friend, comrade in that struggle with me today. Brother?
Yes, I'm Reverend Reginald Benjamin. I'm the executive director of ABBA Leadership Center. I have to digress just for 1 second to say to you, Mr. Hicks, I want to thank you for this opportunity to be able to speak to your audience via radio concerning an emergency.
Yes.
That we have in my community. So I want to apologize to your listeners right now if I sound the alarm and talk about the urgency of the moment as it relates to the African American and the brown Latino community, particularly in the village of Hempstead.
That's perfect. I'm just going to say, speak on it, brother.
Well, thank you so much. I want to talk about it. And again, I express my apologies if I sound a little alarmist. But to me, when I start thinking about the African American and the Latino community, it seems to me it is a time to sound the alarm. Across the country, people are talking about unemployment is down. The last figure I seen was 4.9.
Yes.
In the village of Hempstead, we have our executive, the county executive. I have no disrespect to him, and that's not the intentions of my message today.
Okay.
But he was talking about unemployment was 3.7. Then I looked in the village of Hempstead, the community that's 98% African American and Latino.
Okay.
And we have a 28% unemployment rate. We have one of the historic community, yet we have a dying community.
Yes, we do.
Homes are abandoned. Mothers and grandmothers are angry because they waited all their lives. They worked all their lives to put their money aside to have a home for themselves. And now that they're in their senior years, the property taxes is upward of $20,000 a year. So they're going to lose the home that they spent their lives and saved for, worked hard. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes,
so we got people in the community that are angry. We have young in desperate need of employment. That's the reason why there's an anger fermenting in our community. And I want to be clear. The problem that we have today is not what the police are doing to across the nation. That's a whole other issue. What the problem we have today is we are killing each other in our own communities. In the village of Hempstead, the average death that happens starts from one brother killing another. And so it saddens my heart. It fires me up because I believe we can do better.
Yes, we can.
I spent the last 20 years of my life working in Nassau County Jail, talking to young people and urging them that we can do better. And so we're going to have a rally on the 13th.
Yes.
The 13th of August from 4 p.m. through at Campbell Park to talk to our young people. We're not going to come out to rail on the police or the government or anything else. We come out to talk to one another. And on that day, we're coming together. We got a whole list of other agencies and organizations coming together. We got the Heaven Coalition, Help End Violence Now.
Yes.
We got Snubs, who are out on the streets every day fighting. We even have CODA, which is sponsored through the District Attorney Office, talking about the Council of Thought and Action with reentry and giving second chance opportunity to ex-offenders. They're coming. We have Family and Children's Services. They're coming. We have a litany of churches that are coming out. We have community-based organizations and residents that are concerned with what's going on in their community. They're coming. Ex-gang members are coming. Ex-felons are coming. Mothers are coming. Fathers are coming. Children are coming. So the urgency of now dictate that all of us must come together as a community to deal with the issue. And on that note, I partnered up and co-signed on with Minister Muhammad out of Temple Number 7, and his representative, James Muhammad, is here right now. I want to talk specifically about what we're trying to do on the 13th. And it's urgent. It's urgent. I'm sounding the alarm. We need everybody to be a part of this because this is all about us. So, Minister James, would you talk a little bit about that for us?
Yes, absolutely. Brothers and sisters who are in the listening audience, we're actually looking at trying to deal with that pain, that suffering that's generational in our community. Our brother, student minister, Abdul Hafiz Muhammad, who has been specially trained to touch people's souls and revive their spirit, lead them and guide them with divine guidance so that they can lose the appetite for this violence, or this propensity for violence. But I must say to you that when we come together, we're not just going to talk about the superficial wounds that we have. We know, and as Minister Hafiz has always talked to us, that we have to go to the root of the problem. And he says that first and foremost, there's three things that we want to accomplish that day. One, we want to change the perception that we can't do it ourselves. We must do it ourselves. He says that make our community a decent and safe place to live. That is actually a quote coming from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And then furthermore, we need to develop 10,000 fearless men and women and train them in conflict resolution to help us stop the beefs in our community. That is coming from the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan quoting, which they are doing successfully across this nation, from LA with the Crips and the Bloods into Atlanta, Chicago, all over. But the number 10,000 is not quite the number that we want to do nationally. We need to do that in every community. Every man and woman who has lost a child to gun violence or senseless violence in the community need to take a stance and say enough is enough. If you have not lost one, know that the violence is knocking at your door next. And if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. The bottom line is this. The key to being successful in this endeavor is that we all join hands, lock in, and go out there with tremendous unconditional love talk to our young brothers and sisters, share with them your experience of how you navigated through life, and that there is some light at the end of the tunnel. And this is what we're going to do, and we're going to be spearheaded by Minister Abdul Hafiz Muhammad, which I will talk to you a little later more about why he is the man for this time in this hour to pursue this endeavor.
I certainly agree with you, brother. Let me just add on to that. In my community, in the village of Hempstead, one of the biggest problems we've had, Mr. Hicks, is this. We can't come together organizationally to put the most important issues forward, put those out front, put our kids first. We're so busy quabbling over petty issues. Sometimes, in my opinion, God has to send somebody else. And I believe that this brother was appointed for this time. We had a pre-meeting. It'll blow your mind the number of people that have came out and are concerned about this issue. Now, we're not just talking about having a rally. It's much more than that. We're talking about some intentional services and programs. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, right now, and it's by the grace of God, I was appointed to be the consultant for the village of Hempstead with a major $2.5 billion project that's going to take place in the village of Hempstead. That's a bonanza economically to our community. Yes, the mayor is coming out on the 13th. We have a number of different politicians coming out, and they're not coming out just to speak because it's election time. We're asking them to come out to be a part of this and make some firm commitments to our community. And I know I can go on and on about this, but if a few of our brothers and sisters would come out and stand with us and say to you, well, Brother Reggie, here you go again talking about stop the violence, but we don't have jobs. Right. We don't have opportunity. Where are we going to get jobs? And if I was talking to somebody, I would tell you, I'm glad you asked. If you come out that day, me being the consultant for the village of Hempstead and working with several construction companies, it's my goal to make sure that every brother, every sister that are willing and able to drop the guns and pick up a broom or pick up a shovel or pick up a tool or pick up a trade to make sure that they get there. The problem is all of us going to be there, all the community agency, all the organization. We need you.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I just want to jump in here and Reverend Benjamin, you might not remember, I am also a member of the village of Hempstead.
Wow.
So I will be there on the 13th.
We appreciate that.
Whether it's live streaming it or helping you get the word out, or, you know, we're going to, truthfully, this Wednesdays I usually do my podcast. You gentlemen are more than welcome to join it.
At what time is your podcast?
It's at 8 p.m.
Sure.
It's at 8 p.m. So trust me, I'm committed, just like everyone else, because, I mean, I've lived in Hempstead for 15 years. So I've seen it.
So you know firsthand.
Oh, I know firsthand. And there's a specific reason why I send my kids to private school. Mm-hmm. So, you know, not to be uppity, but just to be concerned.
Keep your kid. Let's just put it out there.
Right.
To keep your kids safe.
Right.
We have $182 million in our school system, and they cannot get it right in terms of making sure that these kids get an education, making sure that the money is invested wisely. People, oh Lord, I don't want to go there. That's a whole other subject. I almost went there. Well, I'm not going to do it.
Let me just say.
Let me just stick to the subject.
Yeah, we're going to stay on the subject because we want to keep peace in the streets, but there can be no peace in the streets unless there's some peace at home.
That's true.
And there can't be no peace at home unless these children got somewhere to go during the day, and there's peace in the classroom and peace wherever they go. So the question is, how do we get to that point where we find peace within ourselves so that we can stop this here violence that's going on in our community? It's a plague. It's happening in every community across America, no matter where you go. You can go somewhere as far as Delaware, go into Ohio, into Florida. Wherever you find black people, it looks like it was a scripted thing. They're redlined in similar kind of communities, and similar things are taking place in their communities. I say peace. Why? Because there's power in peace. People don't recognize that.
True.
See, from the very beginning of time, when everything was formed in this universe, it was formed in peace. You know, when someone passes away, no matter what culture you're in, no matter what religion, they say what? Rest in peace, all power, right? So we need to get back to that peace, because in that peace, in that power, there's the ability to heal. We are people who are hurting. We are people that have so much tremendous pain from generational things that have taken place, and no one has addressed that. Like, I'm an ex-military man. You come out of a conflict and you're having some trouble dealing with an issue of seeing so much trauma and drama and pain and suffering. They send you into a situation where you can seek counseling and help you deal with that problem. Our people in our Black community have gone generation after generation of trauma, and there has been no outreach, no help to help us deal with what we have. So the bottom line is, we've been abused, and now we have become self-abusers. That's why the killing is taking place so rapidly in our community. Unless someone who's qualified, someone who's willing, someone who's able steps in and intervenes in our behalf, the killing will continue. So we're going to address that on August 13th in a big way.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Like I said, I know we're short on time here, but the floor is always open. The floor is open. So tentatively, I would like to book you two for the podcast for this Wednesday at 8 p.m. I'll be Minister James. I'll be communicating with Reverend Benjamin on this, so that you know the number to dial in and everything else like that. We can get the word out that way. Number two, I will be there on the 13th. Any resources that I can provide digitally to get the word out, you say the word.
I want to thank you, Mr. Hicks, but I also want to share this with you. I appreciate you. Going back almost 2 years, you have anything that I was doing in the village, him said you have expressed a commitment and a concern, because you're concerned about home base. That's a rarity. So I want you to know that we do not take this opportunity you've given us unlikely. We do not take this opportunity to communicate to your audience unlikely. And we want to say, if we never say it again, we appreciate you and thank you, and may God bless you for giving us this opportunity.
Yes, and let me just chime in, as a representative of the local minister, Minister Abdul Hafiz Muhammad, whom I'm going to see if he can make it himself available on Wednesday, because they may need to hear his voice. And the reason why is because we are kind of understanding that there's a certain anointing that takes place for someone to go into the streets and to deal with these young people. Everybody's not cut from that cloth.
That's true.
And I've been with him consoling the families.
Why don't we close out on this note? I have been around for a long time, 40 years. I've heard T.D. Jakes, A.R. Bernard, all of the top preachers I've heard. But this have a certain type of anointing on him that if you listen to him for 5 minutes, you'll see this is the person that God is talking to at this time. It doesn't matter what faith or denomination you're under, he's speaking to the issue.
Gotcha. Well, and I'm not sure, Minister James, if you know that on the 19th, Reverend Benjamin is coming back here. And we're opening it up. There's no other guests.
Yes.
So we're going to recap the 13th, and we're going to talk about something else that's near and dear to my heart, the back to school celebration.
Wonderful.
Well,
Definitely.
The back to school celebration has been expanded to include the issue of violence. We have included talking about a continuation of stopping the violence. We're talking about peace in our streets. And we'll be talking about that again on the 27th. And the minister, although he's a very busy man across the country, he will be out on the 27th as well. Did you know that, Brother James?
I absolutely did.
This man is committed already, committed his time and effort to this. I want to thank you again. And I'm kind of long-winded. Let me get out your way.
No, not long-winded at all. And like I said, I wouldn't be a good deacon myself if I didn't see this opportunity here to bring us together, to help get this word out, because of the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you.
And, we're all doing it for the same cause. So just to wrap this segment up, Reverend Benjamin, best ways to hear about this?
Yes. I'm going to give you a number that you can call me direct because I'm directly involved. If you're interested in being a part of the Peace in the Street rally on the 13th of August, you can call me at either number, 516-398-7484, 516-493-9840, or you can call Minister James at what number, James?
631-335-4652.
Could you repeat that?
That's 631-335-4652. And bless you, Brother Ted, for allowing us to come on. We're looking for 10,000 feelers to get this job done.
You got it. Listen, we're going to go to a quick break, and we have Mission Athlete Care